So Erin is not going to brag about herself, so I just want to give her a proper introduction.
Erin. Yeah, give her a proper
She's an award-winning social media marketer who's been featured in Forbes, Business Week, Business Insider, OC Metro, OC Register, iTunes, Top Entrepreneurs Podcast, and more. Since 2004, she's worked in social media events, digital marketing space for over 100 brands.
And she's a happy girl.
All right, so welcome, Erin.
Yay, thanks for having me. You guys rock.
Okay, don't screw this up, Erin. This is going to be huge.
So when Erin emailed us, the first thing we did was we searched you on Google, and you had a nice, a reputation.
You
online.
said looked like I had my shit together.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you said.
Those are my words.
Which I'm actually working on my book, and I included a chapter about you.
Really?
And it's called "Look Like You Have Your Shit Together," and I quote you in it.
I love it. That's
really cool.
Awesome.
And if somebody needs to find you before the show ends, what do they do to find you?
Before the show ends?
Yeah, before this podcast ends.
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at Erin Gargan, ErinGargan. Same on Instagram, same on Facebook.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Keep it simple.
Isn't it interesting? You don't need your address anymore. You don't need your phone number anymore. You don't even need your email address anymore.
Just need a name and a Google.
Yeah, you just need a name and a Twitter account.
Okay, so you've worked with 100 brands and over 100 brands. Yeah. These aren't just like little brands. These are major Fortune 100, 200, 300, 400 top brands. So what's the key to making to getting in with those brands?
So the key to working with these big brands is to find, for me, I just found a large partner that already had relationships with all of those brands.
Whoa, there's a smart move.
A referral partner.
Right. A referral partner.
Love
so
that.
Instead of having to go one to one and kill myself, I made one awesome relationship and kind of piggybacked on some of their existing clients.
That's classic, by the way.
Just keeping it real. That's the real story.
Exactly.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're in with them.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you help them?
Wait a second.
What?
You have the possibility of getting in with them. You have one chance to create attraction with that Fortune 100 company. And you just can't call up and go, oh, by the way, my partner is so-and-so, and they said I should give you a call because we're pretty damn good at what we do. No, there has to be a solid reason. You can't just get a referral from somebody.
Well,
you have to know how to use it.
The referral partner is actually calling the potential customer and making that connection for you.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot. I'll be honest. I haven't done a lot of cold.
No,
don't lie on our show, Erin.
Yeah, you can lie here.
Yeah, whoever says I'm gonna lie to you, but stay with this. Stay with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't done a cold outreach in a long time besides you guys.
Wow.
So I was
you're one for one.
Love that.
So my ratio is like 100%.
But it's a good thing you had your shit together.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so you get in with this one referral partner, and they bring you to their clients because they know you can make their clients' time at a trade show more successful.
Exactly. So we're brought in to train sales teams on how to better use social media around the trade show experience. Okay.
So what's the secret?
So the big secret is that 80% of the heavy lifting of trade show success and using social media happens before you get on site. Kind of like what you were saying earlier, Jeffrey. All the heavy lifting is what you're doing to prep. Okay. So I have like what I call the 6 P's. Okay. Which I know you guys love the lists, right?
Tell
the
us.
6 P's of trade show preparation for social media.
I like this already.
All right. So you got prepare, you got profiles, prospects, posts, patrol, and perspectives.
Okay. So
we're going to break it down.
Yeah.
When you
we'll
get
break
there,
it down.
P.
And
early.
P early.
in advance.
P early. Exactly. So obviously the first thing is prepare, which sounds like a really normal thing to do before a trade show, but you'd be surprised. A lot of these sales teams,
it's not
I've been to trade shows. I'm not surprised.
Right.
They're just like, all right, we're here. Let's make it happen. And you're like, what? You can't
They're just
show
hanging
up
out
and
waiting for someone to come by their booth.
Yeah. And, their game plan's like, meet some people, sell some shit. But, the plan needs to be more like, how many demos are we going to perform? How many leads are we going to connect?
So you have goals before you get there.
Sounds crazy, right?
Yeah,
maybe three goals. Maybe the number of demos you want to do, the number of pre-show meetings you want to set, and maybe, the number of connections that you meet on site at the show that you get a meeting with after. Just set 3 simple goals, whatever, So that's prepare. So from there, the most important thing is your profile. Okay. So what's funny is that people don't think about polishing their profile before reaching out. They don't look like they have their shit together. So if your profile picture is from the 1980s.
Wait a minute. There's a theme coming up here.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Every one of these P's.
That's right.
It's number 1 and number 2.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So if your profile photo is old enough to get carded at a bar, you need a new one. Exactly. Because the idea is someone's going to look you up online, and if they can't recognize you on the trade show floor, it's from your 1985 high school reunion, it's a disaster.
You know what? It
Get
seems
a new
like
photo.
A pretty obvious thing to do, yet people don't do it.
Polished. It costs maybe, $100 to get a proper headshot done. It is so worth it.
People have iPhones. They don't even you can take a nice photo these days with an iPhone.
That's
so
it.
While we're on the subject of profiles, we're going to pause on your list and go to Facebook real quick to take some questions.
Hi, Jeffrey. What's the best giveaway at a conference? Your product. That way, the only people that get it are the people that really want it. Because if you give away a bunch of golf balls, you're going to get a golfer who doesn't really give a shit about your product.
He said, is it useful to bring, this is Ian, is it useful to bring anything, or does it just crowd your booth with unwanted traffic? I love the people who bring candy, because I always want candy.
Yeah.
Water.
But people buy...
But that doesn't mean I'm going to be your customer. It just means I want your candy.
And people think that that's an attraction for them. They have, if you give me your business card, I'll give you a candy bar, or I'll give you some...
Why? No. So you can spam me?
Or you can,
I don't want the candy that bad. I could go to Dwayne Reed.
You could win an iPad. That's been like a big giveaway for years now.
People love that.
I know, but they're unqualified people. You're going to get people that are just going to dump their business card in there, and you go back to your boss and say, I got 748 cards. 2 are qualified. You waste more time with that.
True.
So I have some ideas about that, but we'll talk about that in just a little bit. You stay tuned for more ideas. Come on, Erin. What's the third P?
All right, cool. So the third P, so first your profile. So you want to make sure it looks good. Get a good photo, connect with the event social media accounts, make sure you're connected with your company's social media accounts. And if you have any prospects,
but you shouldn't be connecting
with them.
With your company social media accounts because you have a trade show. You should be doing that day one. You join the company.
Listen, if there's a hashtag for the show.
So you're basically teaching them how to be an employee also.
Right, exactly. And you want to make sure the official hashtag.
If you use the hashtag, you're going to find other people also using the hashtag. You can make connections way before the show even happens.
Find you.
Yeah.
It cements the conversation. Because a lot of times if you make up your own tweet or your own hashtag, there's 2 or 3 conversations happening. You got to use the official one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? So that's important.
Yeah.
So number 3 is prospecting. The third P is prospecting. Okay. Now, a lot of salespeople will try and prospect maybe like a month before the event. It's not going to work. No one's thinking about the trade show until like the week or 2 before. Yeah. Okay. So my reps have the most success in the week before the trade show.
Oh, wow.
I've even had some reps. I had one rep that used the Wi-Fi on an airplane and got 5 meetings saying, hey, I'm en route to NAB. Want to connect? 5 meetings from the Wi-Fi on the airplane. Wow. So it's actually not that great to do it that far out.
So that $24 investment is worth it.
Totes.
Yeah.
Pay for the month.
Exactly.
The slowest internet on the planet since AOL.
Yeah. Exactly. So prospecting. So prospecting on social media is massive. Okay. You want to make sure that if you can get access to a lead list beforehand, a lot of times like trade shows will sell you an email list of attendees. You can segment it by where they're from, get the one that matches to your territory, and start looking them up on LinkedIn.
So
and should you go by last year's list of attendees, or will they sell you old ones?
You stole my question.
Oh, sorry.
Well, whether it's last year or this year, they probably didn't move industries. So regardless if they're going to be at the event or not, they're still a prospect, right? Yeah. So that's important. So a good thing to look for on social media is job changes. So most people that change jobs that are going to an event are more likely to be interested in your new solution because they're looking to make an impact. Most people make a big purchasing decision within the first 90 days of their new job. So you want to look on LinkedIn where it says, Jen has a new job, Jeffrey has a new position, because that is a buying trigger. That's a signal to you. When you get on site, they're probably more interested in what you have to say.
Cool.
Okay.
That's interesting.
So another tip for our...
hold on. Another P for pause to Facebook.
Oh, yes.
Matt, how do you handle those prospects who seem to not want to leave your booth?
You tell them that you have way more important things to do than talk to them.
Or that there's free candy over there.
Right. No,
sign the dealer leave.
You find a very nice way and a very polite way to wrap your conversation up by telling them, I have an appointment right now, and I don't want to cut us short. I want to make sure that we have enough time to really talk to each other, but now's not my best time. And I'd like to give you my best time after the show is over. So could we make an appointment now to talk later?
Perfect. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you
good.
be minorly.
All right. Let's check it out.
Bum, 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 bum. How do you feel about hiring models to work at your trade show booth?
I'll take this one.
All right, go ahead.
Erin.
Unfortunately, Chris, it's the death of the booth, babe. It is over. The party's over.
Isn't it nice that women can say that? If men said it's the death of a booth, babe, you'd be called sexist. You'd be called all kinds of crap. But women can say anything they want. That's what I love about women.
Yeah. You know, I was at a trade show a couple months ago, and a brand hired a bunch of booth babes and got in massive trouble. The guy got fired because it was against like HR. And I mean, the party's over there. Unless you're going to SEMA, which is an automotive show, which seems to be stuck in the old days. But for the most part, it's
what about shows in
upon.
Vegas where they have like Vegas showgirls and stuff you can hire?
You know, it's really, the idea is that your product and your brand really should get the attention and not try to bring people in with hot
cheesecake.
Girls. Yeah.
Why
cheesecake
not just be regular, like approachable?
Yeah. Like we look good.
Just like 3 or 4 rock. You know what? 3 or 4 Rockettes dancing, no big deal,
no
right?
Big deal, yeah.
No.
Crazy.
All right, Brent says, is it better to dress crazy in theme? What is that, like wear like a banana or something?
I guess I don't know.
Or be all business?
What kind of trade show is it? If it's Comic-Con, be a superhero. If it's a finance show, wear a tie.
Exactly.
I think you should wear what your customers are used to seeing you in.
So far, all the answers that we've given you are freaking obvious.
No, but we love your questions. Bring them on. Thank you.
Ask us
they might be obvious to us, but they're not obvious to the person asking them.
Seriously?
So, yes.
I just told you, dress professionally.
Thank you.
No, dress sharp. You know, if you're going to be casual, be smart casual.
Dress as if your best customer is about to walk into the room. How would you want to be seen? Boom.
I concur.
Done. Agreed.
And if you're going to have food, don't have it at your booth.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to your fourth P.
Agreed.
Oh, yeah.
Fourth P. One last P on the prospect is the concept of virtual coffee. Virtual coffee is a really great way to meet with someone before the event.
Love that.
I had a rep one time that sent a Starbucks e-card. So it was like they were having coffee. And in that conversation, the rep actually was able to give a demo. And so when they met in person at the show, not only was the prospect educated, he knew he was qualified, and he came back for a second meeting in person. So he was further along his buying journey.
Good.
Cool. So that's a great way to do that. And then also, if you're going to set meetings with prospects before you get on site at the show, make sure you send a very detailed meeting invitation, because trade shows are nuts. You need to put the time zone. You need to say 10 a.m. PST in the title, your cell phone number. You need to have exactly where you're meeting, and also include all information that can help them start to shop you.
So
send
like have
over
your shit
product
together.
Information. Exactly.
You might also find it helpful to visit these 5 booths.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Be a value provider, be an information provider, not just a sales guy. Well, it'll sure be nice to see you. And again, thanks.
Exactly.
No, don't say again, thanks. Just say thanks once and you're done.
Exactly. That's it.
So for those of you just joining us, Erin Gargan from Socialite, social media marketing company, and she's an expert on trade show marketing.
World-class expert.
Is going through her list of strategies to be successful at your trade show.
Yes, exactly.
And the reason she's giving us these reasons is because she does it for Fortune 100 companies, so you might as well listen up.
So another P is your posts. Okay. So this is all pre-show. We're still on pre-show. So if you're going to do any kind of posting.
So 5 out of the 6 P's are before they ever
4 out of the 6 P's are before you get on site. I'm telling you guys, it's all about preparation.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
So a big idea now. So we've all heard of SEO, right? Search engine optimization. Well, the big word now is SMO, social media optimization, which is preparing your social media posts to be optimally found in social networks. Okay. So it's not just what you tweet, it's how you tweet it.
Cool.
So if you are tweeting and you're using Twitter, okay, like for example, if you're in every single B2B industry, you're probably going to use Twitter at a trade show. You want to make sure that you get your marketing team to use Twitter cards. Okay. Twitter cards are a line of code that your programmers will put on your website so that when you tweet something out about your business, it shows up with either a link to sign up for your email list, a link to download a white paper, a direct link to a product brochure,
a call to action,
but deep links, and it also makes pictures look better and makes it clickable. So it presents your information in a way that it's seen in the newsfeed, and you also have analytics behind it too. So I recommend Twitter cards big time.
Okay, when you combination Twitter card with the hashtag of the show, you get a double opportunity to be able to connect with somebody.
Yeah. All right, back to Facebook. You're going to read it, or you want me to read it?
Eric Hernandez, what might be a simple, great, memorable approach for a service provider with no booth to make an introduction when meeting a new prospective client at a trade show with so many people in attendance? First of all, get a booth.
Well, you know what? Some companies will not pay for a booth, and if they're the salesperson, they can't control that.
Okay, so if you're going to just keep this in mind, the guys who have got a booth have paid a lot of money for that booth and don't want to be interrupted by a sales guy. That's the most important thing. So if you're going to hawk, which is a term that I created a long time ago, I would go to trade shows to sell, but I would I'd get an exhibitor badge from somebody. Anywhere. I get in before the show started so they don't mind being talked to before the event. That way you're not being rude. Mm-hmm. While the event is going on, anybody in the aisle is fair game. So you read badges as fast as you possibly can. You've already dog-eared or you've already bookmarked 10 companies that you want to be on the lookout for because they all have multiple people going. And anybody from that company, you stop and talk to them.
Right.
What do you recommend?
You don't even have to read the badges anymore. You can go on LinkedIn and find these people and reach out to them with a personalized connection request saying,
no argument with that.
I'm going to be there, and set up a time, set up a place, schedule your time at the trade show. So you have 5 meetings each day at the same coffee shop outside the booth, if that's what you want to do.
So, yeah, I had a rep who never exhibited, but went to every trade show in the industry, and whether we had a booth or not, and she was uber successful because she did those 4 Ps. Mm-hmm. She prepared beyond imagination in advance and made appointments so that when she got to the exhibit, everyone who she wanted to meet was there, and she knew it. And she would host a dinner, and she'd host a reception. She'd get a suite, or she'd host some sort of reception, but she didn't need a booth.
Genius. And also, if you meet with them beforehand, then when you meet with them in person, you're building a relationship. Exactly. You're talking about pricing. Yeah. Exactly. You're talking about implementation.
Okay, so let's be real here. What percentage of salespeople are really socially prepared before they go to that event?
Not enough.
Exactly. And so they're going to listen to this and they're going to go, oh, crap, I'm not really ready for this. What do you recommend that people do to get socially ready before that trade show?
Well, number one, you need to figure out where your prospects are on social media and connect with them. It's the number one thing. If you can find people's companies, you can find what their buying titles are, you can find who their friends are, you can find who you have in common. You can ask for an introduction before you even get on site.
Should you call them on the phone, or should you email them through email, or should you connect with them on LinkedIn, or should you do all 3?
Whoa, no. Well, first of all, no one likes talking on the phone anymore, obviously. And
right. So I'm writing a book for millennials. It's called Pick Up the Damn Phone.
It's going to be a bestseller. Oh, yeah. So the phone's tough. Email, we all hate email. We're all over it. It's hard to stand out. But with LinkedIn messages, you get a really good response because it stands out. Okay. So writing a message.
And do you go for the message, or do you just go for a normal message?
You want to try and find a connection. So are you connected with someone in common that can introduce you? Okay. Do you have something in common with the person that you can reach out and try to connect? Always try to connect organically.
Okay, so I'm going to add something to this, okay?
It's cold and they're expensive. You have to buy it. You have to pay for them.
If I'm going to connect with somebody on LinkedIn, or if I'm going to try to connect with somebody on LinkedIn, I'm going to offer a value. I'm not going to ask them to connect with me. I'm going to say, listen, I know we're both going to go to this trade show. You don't know me, but I do have a post on the 5 things that you have to do at this trade show that will give you the most value for it. And if you'd like it, connect with me and I'll send it to you.
That's perfect. Content's a great currency. And absolutely. Asking marketing too about VIP events, asking marketing what they have planned in the booth, and inviting them to something special that no one else is invited to is also really effective.
Cool. So let's go to your next tip. I know we have to wrap soon, so that's okay. So whatever.
No, we're taking too long.
No, it's okay.
No.
This is really good content. So let's go to the next tip.
Well, another great way to get on people's radar is to shoot an introduction video. Shoot a 30-second video saying, I'm Jeffrey, I'm Jen, or Sell or Die. I live in Charlotte. I love to see you at NAB show. And just uploading that and pinning it to the top of your Twitter profile is a great way for people to get to know you before you get there.
That's cool.
So also a big thing.
Someone sent me a personalized video on Twitter. It's a little creepy.
Oh, that is.
But they were like, "Hi, Jen in a New York Minute. I read your stuff," and it was really flattering. And they like tweeted it to me.
Gosh.
So, do you recommend personalized videos?
I don't recommend saying like, "I love the pajamas you wore last night when I was staring through your window," but that's a little much. But I don't recommend personalized videos. It looks like you have too much time on your hands.
Creepy.
You're too desperate.
Okay.
You have enough going on.
I was flattered.
Well, no offense if you're watching. That was really nice.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah. A general intro video should work.
Okay.
Also, a lot of people, because 70% of social media is done on mobile devices, a lot of people have typos. So make sure you download a spell checking app on your phone, because you don't want to do all this hard work of creating this polished perfection.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to do. We all do it.
Is there a spell checking app you like?
I use Grammarly for my desktop.
That's a good one. Yeah.
It's great, but they don't have mobile yet. They don't have a mobile app yet.
What are they thinking?
So I just do the regular spell check. It's called Spell Checker on mobile, but it's not as good as Grammarly.
Grammarly is amazing because they actually give you the word you're thinking of.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's never wrong.
Yeah, right. But because a lot of people use boring words on their LinkedIn profiles. They use words like detail-oriented, driven, passionate. So does everybody else. So get creative and if they're not, try to find better words. Yeah, exactly. There's so many great words out there.
Grammarly on Howler.
Yeah, I love
it.
All right. So what's the next one?
Okay. So those are all the pre-show. It's all about pre-show. Okay. So we talked about all the different things: preparing your profile, prospecting, making sure you optimize your posts. Now, when you're on site, I recommend leaning pretty heavily on your marketing team to be doing all the Facebook Live and the live tweeting, because if you're sitting there staring at your phone while you're on site at a trade show, why are you there?
It's tacky.
Stupid.
It's tacky.
It's tacky.
Well, actually, you feel like you're interrupting the guy.
You do. You're like, I'm sorry. Can we talk
You're
about
not present. You're on your phone.
Right. So look up. Okay. Yeah. But the one thing, there's two exceptions to the lookup rule. Okay? Exception number one is that you want to be patrolling. That's the other P. Okay. Patrolling is setting Google alerts for you, your competitors, the event, and your products. So at breakfast and before bed, you get a little digest of what's happening on the web. Okay. On social, you want to use, it's called if this, then that. IFTTT. If this, then that. Have you guys heard of this before? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they have these little, it's called like Appleys, and you can get a text message on your phone whenever someone on Twitter is mentioning you, your competitor, or your product around the official event hashtag.
Whoa.
So maybe a buyer is saying like, I love Jen's products. And Jeffrey's like, oh, do you? Because I have better products than Jen's products. Why don't you come to booth 100? Let's talk about it. Hey. So there's buying opportunities there.
Or Jen gets a notification and she goes, I got a sale here.
Exactly. So that's the first thing. The second exception to the look up and get off your cell phone when you're at a trade show rule is that if you're talking to a customer and this customer is stoked and they love what you have to say and they're pumped about your product, whether they're a prospect or a customer, it's very appropriate for you to ask them, can I record a quick testimonial video from my iPhone?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Okay. We typically have marketing, sales, and everyone on one iPhoto shared album so that everyone can be contributing photos and videos throughout the day. So you can pull off and share later at night or the next day.
Or on your Facebook.
Or on your Facebook. Now, if you use Facebook, I don't recommend using Facebook for trade shows unless you use a custom audience. So your custom audience should be made of professional contacts, not your mom, your cousins, your friends.
No. You have a Facebook business page.
If you're posting on behalf of the company, if you're a salesperson and you want to use Facebook on your personal, make sure you create a custom account.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. A custom audience.
So with the if this then that, and doing the social stuff and looking at alerts, don't do it from the booth. It's so tacky.
Agreed.
If I'm walking by your booth and you're on your phone, I'm not gonna go to your booth. Like, you're busy on
I
your
might
phone.
look for your candy.
Yeah,
I'll take your candy anyway,
right.
Or the free cocktail at the happy hour. I'm always down for those.
Yeah, but Not like, just don't do it at the booth.
No,
go to the bathroom, go to your hotel room.
Agreed.
Go to
You might
the corner.
be smart and have those little Chick-fil-A things there too. You know,
Yeah,
those
those
little
are good. Yeah.
Delicious.
muffin
like
things
those.
in the morning.
I like
Delicious.
it. All right, one last tip, Erin.
Okay.
Give it away.
One last tip. So hopefully you're connecting as you go at the trade show. Ideally, you want to be like, Jen, is this you? I'm looking at my phone.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
100
that's
Jens.
creepy.
Is this you? I like to connect right there in person.
Oh, cool.
If not, make sure that
I like that though. Is
Yeah.
this you? It's like,
yeah, there's like 10 other
seriously?
Jen
What do you mean it's
Gluckows.
this you?
But there's a lot. And also sometimes LinkedIn people search is not that great. You
Yeah.
can't find people sometimes.
Yeah.
So just being like, hey, which John Smith are you? And have them go, oh, scroll. Oh, that's me. Boom. Number one, you connect on the fly. Number two, you don't have to wait till later with your big stack of business cards, connecting with every single person who forgets about who you are because it's 2 days later. So you want to connect in the real moment or that day.
I'm in Vegas, where I'm at the Ely Cafe in Palazzo. You know it well.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting with these two foreign guys, and I said, "Do you have a business card?" And we had a real nice conversation.
yeah.
And they go, "We don't have any business cards.
Connect with us.
Here's my LinkedIn."
Yeah. That's what I say.
Literally, that is how we made the
Yeah.
connection that moment.
Yeah,
And there's a
it's
great
pretty
functionality where you can actually make notes about the prospect under the relationship tab.
Mhm.
You can set reminders,
cool. I hear
follow-ups.
that
It's
they're
great.
getting rid
It's
of
great.
that.
Are they?
I heard,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Okay, so I want to give one
Hope not.
high
I
level
use that.
I know, me too.
tip idea. For years, I attended trade shows until I learned the secret of winning at trade shows, and that is speak at the trade show. When you speak at the trade show and you give a seminar on something of value that doesn't associate itself necessarily with your product, but something of value that all the attendees can get, someone will walk by you or your booth and go, "Nice talk."
Yeah.
That is an opening that you could not buy for $1 million. Someone recognized you for the value that you have. They're now willing to talk deeply.
Agreed. Make sure someone records it. Video that talk. Put it on YouTube. Share it on social. Give it legs.
And it's also a reason to reach out to people, to invite them to your talk, to tell them you're not pitching your product. You're going to be giving them value and help on these 5 things.
100%.
Yeah.
And to that point, when you're finished the trade show, my last P is that you want to take all the insights that you gleaned, whether you were speaking, talking to customers, whatever, and you want to create your perspective. You want to create a post on the plane ride home that recaps the top 5 most interesting things you heard. What you're going to do is you're going to use that perspective long form post as an excuse for follow up. So instead of just following up and being like, Jen, I want to sell you shit. It's like, hey, Jen, it was so great meeting you. Here's 5 interesting insights you might be interested in learning about. Can we talk more about our conversation and continue it Tuesday at 10?
I was going to say my last P was follow up. So boom. I'm glad you made it perspective.
Man. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So back to Facebook. We want to hear from you.
Ooh.
Tim says, hi guys, when developing a trade show booth, how much value would you put on a beautifully designed, elaborate stand versus a basic stand with the same info? Does the expense of an elaborate stand pay off? Or will people not visit you regardless?
Depends on how good your candy is. I'm going to say, just me personally, there should be something in the middle. It doesn't have to be elaborate, but it does have to be eye-catching. It does have to have something about it that's kind of fun. It does have to have it where someone nudges somebody and says, hey, take a look at this booth.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's an ordinary booth and people will walk by and not see any potential value.
I think that's key, though. It's not about how much money you invest in it. It's about how enticing it is for someone to want to go.
Yep.
I think a big key with those 10 by 10, we call them little dirty booths in the industry, little dirty baby booths, the little 10 by 10s. I think the key there is that you really can't compete on features and benefits with like the Panasonics and the LGs and these crazy $10 million carpet booths. So you don't try to compete on their level, but what you do try to do is focus on talking about problems in the industry, challenges, talk more about ideas and not so much about product. And I think that if you can spend enough time on social media before the event, if you have a little dirty booth, you have to work even harder to get a reason for them to meet with you.
Yeah.
If you rent a big screen television and you have a Twitter feed with all the hashtags from the show, you're going to create people's attention. You're going to have something where people will actually stop and take a look.
Yeah.
And you can say, hey, you want to tweet something?
Tweet-ups
sure.
do work. If you get someone that's like for example, like if you can find like a B-list celebrity, okay? So like we just did social media for this automotive show in Vegas. And there's all these celebrities.
Wait, are you calling me a B-list celebrity?
No, like automotive drivers, race car drivers. So I don't know anything about NASCAR. Maybe they're like B+ celebrity. I don't know. Anyway, so they're like race car drivers, and they had a bunch of these race car drivers at the booth, even though it was small. To your point, they were having a live tweet session, and it did draw a crowd. So I think it's a great idea.
That's really cool. All right, Doug, are there more Facebook questions?
No, that looks like it on Facebook.
Okay, well then, thank you.
Come on, join the conversation. That's it. See, we told them their questions are so obvious.
You can even ask Erin, where did she go on her honeymoon? Where did you go on your honeymoon?
The BVI, man.
Oh,
yeah, man.
Cool.
Sailing around.
All right.
No Paris, but do
so,
the best we can. Not as fancy as you guys.
Well, okay.
Paris doesn't have to be fancy.
No, but it is.
No, it's civilized.
So, where would people find you, Erin?
You can find me on Twitter at Erin Gargan, or just Google me, Erin Gargan, Gargan.
And I want to thank you very, very, very much for, if you are ever in the neighborhood again, you're always very free to stop in and give us more sales tips. I thought you were exceptionally insightful today, and I want to thank you very much for being our guest.
Well, thanks for answering my cold email.
And don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Erin,
cheers!
Thank you so much.
Happy New Year.
Thanks, Happy New Year.
Cheers. So I want to talk about something that's happening right now as Erin says goodbye. And she was a wonderful guest, by the way.
Great guest. Totally great guest. Totally great guest.
Say goodbye, Jen.
Oh, okay. So whether